filmmakers love the idea of control, but it's impossible. What you need is the illusion of control. So you may think when you're young and you're 23 years old, you're going to control every facet. But you realize very quickly that the art of movie direction is seeing that it's going to get away from you. The question then is, are you smart enough to get rid of the things that screw up the original idea and embrace the things that make it bigger? That's become the key to direction for me. And when I was younger, I didn't know that at all. I thought it was about getting my idea onto the screen.
Lui, c'est James Gray, l'un des réalisateurs américains actuels les plus talentueux. Il présente au Festival de Cannes Paper Tiger avec Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson et Miles Teller. L'occasion pour moi de discuter avec lui de ce nouveau film et plus généralement de cinéma.
Paper Tiger, I mean, when I watched it, to me, it was a kind of a summary, maybe, of all your obsessions, of even different scenes from your previous movies. There are some linked, you know, like the high grass of the Way on the Night, for instance.
Right.
So I was wondering if that was like conscious. I mean, it's about your family,
yeah,
for sure.
It's weird because I don't have the same view of the films that you do. And just recently, there's a DVD label, an excellent one in the United States called Criterion. I don't know if it's...
Sure.
And so they just remastered my first film, which I made when I was 23. And I had not seen, it's called Little Odessa, and I had not seen the movie in 31 years and did not remember it at all. So I was watching it and I was kind of going, oh yeah, I stole from myself. This was 30 years ago. I stole from, later on I stole from that. So I think what it is these things settle in your unconscious and then you just keep bringing them back. Clearly things that have haunted me from my childhood or something.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a little boy that my brother and I got lost in that very tall grass, which is called Phragmites grass, which is actually the name of it. And so it's made a reappearance in a bunch of movies, that tall grass. So maybe it's something I'm frightened of or something. In other words, these things come back, but I'm not conscious of them. It's more for you than for me to see these similarities.
Because I knew I would see you, so I rewatched We on the Night.
Right.
The scene with the, I don't know.
No, you're completely right. I don't think of it. And that movie's 20 years ago, you know. I don't think
and Little Odessa was like 1994.
Yeah.
So it's like
32 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
But I have a question actually, because it's like the Russian mafia in Little Odessa, same thing in Paper Tiger.
Yeah.
But if I ask you a difficult question, in which ways did you have you improved as a director from Little Odessa?
Well, that's another question for you, not for me. I mean, I don't have distance from the movies. Maybe I would say that I'm less rigid about my expectations, and I'm more open to a wonderful mistake that the actors will make. I think it's looser, and that's a good thing.
I've read that in Little Odessa you had an argument with Tim Roth at the end of the
I did?
Yeah, for like a scene.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted to do it differently, and you managed to do it. And I mean, and you said afterwards that maybe you would not have done it the same way after this thing. I mean,
well, it was I remember. I mean, I had such a great relationship with Tim, so it's weird focusing on this. But
what actually happened?
Well, I'm trying to remember back exactly, but what I think it was that he just said my character wouldn't respond that way. It was, I think, when they come back to the house and his father hits him and they have a tussle. He said, well, if my father touched me, I would kill him. I said, well, if you kill him, you have no movie. And we sort of argued about it for about 20 minutes, but the movie was very low budget and I had to get rolling as soon as possible. So I just said, we'll play it exactly the way you want it. And then right before we rolled, I told Maximilian Schell what to do. And so what you see in the film is a mess because it's exactly, no actor knew what was going to happen. I mean, today I would talk about it more with the actor. I would spend more time trying to convince the actor. And if I couldn't, I would find another way. I don't think it's good to trick actors. It's not good policy. And like I said, maybe the argument that you would have would lead to something even bigger or better, as opposed to just getting what you wanted, which is what I did.
I mean, I guess most of the people who would watch the conversation we have, they would have not watched Paper Tiger yet.
Yeah.
But I would like to talk about a specific scene. I won't spoil the movie.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. No, I won't spoil the movie. I won't say anything. But it's someone in high grass, and basically the camera is very close. And my question is, what's the questions you ask yourself when you have to direct this kind of scene?
The biggest debate that I have with myself is, and it's the most important thing, is how close is the camera to the actor? I mean, then you have decisions like what lens you want to put on it. So how does it look? But how distant or how intimate are we with the character at that time? So the question I ask myself always is, what is the visual equivalent of the narrative idea that I'm trying to promote? In that case, it was the claustrophobia of that character and the sort of lack of understanding of the space, confusion.
Yeah,
And
it's very
so,
tense.
Yeah, well, that was the idea of it. And also, I had seen Samurai Rebellion with Toshiro Mifune, which is a beautiful movie. And the ending in these weeds when he gets shot and you don't really see who's shooting at him, it's just amazingly memorable. And I saw this scene as a kind of mythic, larger than life sequence. So I stole from that.
But I was wondering, you didn't make the link with the We Own the Night scene, which is kind of the same.
A little bit, I will say this. I think this one is done better.
Yeah.
But I had more time on this one, and I'm also better at the job than I was. And on that movie, I had very little time. It's weird to think of how fast We Own the Night was made. We Own the Night was a very low-budget movie compared to...
How many days?
I mean, I'm trying to remember now for that sequence, I think we had... I had only 1 day for this, but I think I had like 2 days for that, and that had a lot of gunplay and effects and all that. And that's just not enough time. And here, I had storyboarded it down to the last inch, and I knew exactly what I was going to have to get because I'd done it already. And there was a conscious effort to sort of get closer to my claustrophobic feeling than I had on that first film.
There's something I really liked in the movie. I mean, I watched it yesterday night, so I'm still processing it. But the sound, I mean, I think there is a huge work on the sound.
Yeah.
I was very tensed when I watched the movie. Like, the tension is very you're like, what's going on? And I think the sound is a big asset to the movie. How did you work with this?
To me, the sound it's sort of the best weapon you have because the audience is not aware of it ever. I mean, there are very weird things going on the soundtrack of this movie.
Yeah,
like
what?
There's a scene, again, spoiler alert, where these two guys enter a car with two teenage boys, and one of them opens a glove compartment, and as he's doing it, we put the sound of a pig being slaughtered. So like that. That kind of trickery. And you would be amazed at what you can get away with, somebody bites into an apple and you put it as they're pushing away the weeds. And I remember going up to the microphone and taking my wallet and twisting it, the leather twisting, for the sound of the seats in the car. So there's all these little tricks of the trade. And then you focus on the other thing, which is, ambient noise, which, again, you can get so surreal. The audience does not know what they're listening to. Visually, we're very sophisticated. We're not so sophisticated in terms of soundtrack for movies. And so, there's a lot of weird stuff going on the track. And the producers always get a little mad at me because I spend a lot more time mixing the movie than usually for a movie like this. And I'm always conscious of the sound during the movie. In fact, I will play in my headphones sometimes an audio track with a sound effect that creates an emotion in me as I'm watching the scene, which I think the sound people think I'm a little bit insane because it's in my headphones and, I'll be listening to like foghorns.
Okay.
It's whatever, there are things that conjure our memory that are not visual. Like, for example, I was at a friend's house not too long ago, and his wife was making brisket. And I just entered. They were going to have dinner in maybe an hour. And the smell of the dinner brought back my childhood. Like smell is a really amazing memory inducement. And the same thing is true with sounds. I remember when I was a little boy, there was a freeway, an expressway, freeways, California, a highway near my house called the Long Island Expressway, which is what you take when you go from Manhattan out to the tip of Long Island. And you used to hear very late at night if I couldn't sleep. And so that sound conjures the memory of my childhood, because I remember hearing that late at night, you know, when you're awake and everybody else in the house is asleep and you have that lonely
it's scary
feeling.
somehow.
Scary. So I put that sound, you know, in this, you know, in Armageddon time, it's there when the kid's trying to sleep. It's that kind of thing, over and over again.
Another thing I really enjoyed in the movie was the actors. I mean,
they're great.
Yeah, they're stunning. I mean, Adam Driver, we know he's great. Scarlett Johansson, we know she's great. Miles Teller is a little bit less famous in France, but he's stunning. I mean, it's
amazing performance.
Amazing. And I was wondering, what do you expect from an actor as a director?
That's a great question. What do I expect from an actor? Two things, really. The willingness to take risks and not have to look cool, and to listen to the other actors. And that's actually most of acting. Most of acting is if you have a scene of two people, or three people, whatever, that one actor will watch and listen to the other. And so sometimes I'll have, if another actor's off camera, I'll ask that actor to do weird things to provoke a response and make sure to force the actor to listen. And really, a lot of the time, and this is not to sound falsely modest, but it is true. If you cast the movie correctly, a lot of movie directing is not getting in their way. It's not telling them how to do the scene. It's not ordering them around. It's letting them give you their talent, which is so beautiful.
Do you think you have learned to direct actors? Because when you started, like Little Dessa, you were 23, which is very young, and the actors were older for sure. What did you learn in this way?
Well, I was very lucky because when I was a teenager, there was a legendary, truly great acting teacher named Stella Adler, and she had classes in New York, and I would sit in.
The Actor Studio with Marlon Brando.
That's right. And I would sit in on her classes, and she, you begin to learn the rudiments of. Now it's people make fun of the method, but the method is incredibly important. It's great, and she told a story which is very famous now, but she told a story. Which I think has now been written about in a book on the method, where she said, you're a chicken about to be led to the slaughterhouse. And she said this to all of her students, and many of whom were very esteemed actors, and they're like this. And Brando is in the class, he's sitting there by himself, not doing anything. And she goes up to him, she says, Marlon, what are you doing? And he says, looks up at her and he says, I'm a chicken. How do I know I'm going to be slaughtered? So you realize that the obvious choice is not always the right choice. And the actor's ability to surprise you with that way of approaching a scene that you'd never thought of, that you have to embrace that. It's the same thing as the rest of the film. You cannot force the actor. Like if I see a director, I don't visit many sets, but if I do, and I see the director watching the monitor or the actor going like this, or looking along with their script, I know I'm in trouble. Because it means that the director's not watching what the actor's actually doing and open to the new or the surprise that the actor's bringing to make it more alive.
This movie, you wrote it, you directed it, you produced it.
Yeah.
And I know you met troubles, for instance, for the yards when it was like a while ago with Miramax. And nowadays, do you manage to actually control your movie, or is it not possible anyway to control what you do?
No, I control it completely on this, and actually I didn't on Ad Astra. Ad Astra was taken away from me.
With Brad Pitt?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that's not my cut of the movie. But that's, a lot more money was
Why?
spent on the movie. Well, I mean, you get into discussions and debates, and there's a studio, and then the studio was sold. It was 20th Century Fox, and then they got sold to Disney, and Disney swallowed them up. You get caught in that stuff. And the movie was, $80 million or whatever, which is not like this. This was 15. So you get a lot of freedom if you, have established yourself in some way. When you're working at $15 million in that range, people will leave you alone. And so when I like to work in this scale, because I don't think it's productive for people to just change your movie around and then you get the blame anyway. So yeah, no, this is entirely my doing. I'm to blame or to credit, depending on how you feel. And it's been that way for every other movie since The Yards, actually.
What would have you changed, like some changes you would like to make from the previous movies? You mentioned Ad Astra. If you had the final cut, what would be different?
Well, it would be a very different movie, actually.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I liked it, actually. I think it's a great movie.
No, I'm proud of certain things in it, but it would be very different. It would be 12 minutes shorter.
Okay.
First of all, I'm the only director who makes the director's cut that's shorter. It would be 12 minutes shorter. It would, I think it would be, well, I mean, someday hopefully I'll do it. I don't know.
Will you?
Well, it's not up to me, obviously. It's up to the people who own the film, but I would love to do it. It would be thrilling for me.
I have a question about the AI. Now, every interview there is a question about AI, to me, in your movies, there are no need for AI. But then I was wondering how you position yourself to this.
Well, we didn't use AI in the movie, but I'm not as pessimistic about AI as other people. I mean, my view is that there are specifics to human behavior and the vastness and almost really infinite vastness of our soul. And I'm not so sure AI is going to be able to recreate that so easily. And it's funny, I think maybe it'll force the human race to begin to make the final leap in our evolution, which is to start recognizing emotional intelligence, and really start to cherish that, and not to cherish people who can just crunch numbers but not have a conversation with you or feel true compassion or sympathy. And in some ways maybe this will mean a lack of obsession with just making the most money possible and crunching those numbers. I mean, I'm interested in feelings in human beings and trying to extend sympathies. And is AI going to get to that? I mean, maybe in 400 years or whatever, but I don't care about that. I mean, I don't think we're in danger anytime soon of AI being able to get close to the human being's core, the essence, the soul. So I think it's actually more important than ever that artists focus on that, on the emotional power.
What is the thing you're the most proud of in this movie?
Well, it's I finished the movie 3 weeks ago, so this is not an easy question to answer yet. I have no distance, but if I had to pick, I would say that, I'm proud of the actors. I love them. We had it was a fantastic shoot. I mean, it was very, very hot. It was the New York summer. And so on a physical level, it was the hardest movie I've ever done in my life. And I mean, I made a movie in the Amazon jungle. This was harder, physically.
Lost City of Z.
Lost City of Z. Because here you didn't have, I mean, it was 95 or 100 degrees Fahrenheit with 90% humidity every single day and no tree cover, it was like on the asphalt, it was really punishing. But the spirit of the actors was so amazing, and they gave everything to me. They were there to work and do the best that they could. And so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of them. I'm gonna sound so corny, but it's true. That's I think the thing I'm most proud of.
Many young people watch Brut, the media I work with, and for young directors or people who want to make movies, I won't ask you to give an advice, but a trick or something. What should they do?
Oh, it's to me that's an easy question to answer. It's connected to your AI thing. Be true to yourself, because there's only one of you in the world. So the closer you get to who you are, the more interesting and detailed and original it'll be. Forget the noise, forget everything else, forget AI, forget everybody telling you you can't do it. Focus on yourself. Isn't that way a very narcissistic endeavor? But you focus on yourself and what you want to express, and then something beautiful will come out of it.